In this lesson, I want to talk to you about how proportions can be used in context of percentage problems. So let's dive right in here and look at a special proportion setup that we can use and really already understand about percentages. Remember that a percent means a number over 100, and it's really a special ratio that represents a part out of a whole. And in context of word problems, you can attach the word is to the part and the word of to the whole. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's look at about 4 questions here and see if we can use this concept to help us set up a proportion and then solve it. All right, so our first question says, what percent is 20 out of 50? Okay, in this problem, I'm looking for a percent number. That's the unknown. What percent? So I'm going to let my proportion start out with n. That's the unknown. And I'm going to write that over 100 because I'm looking for the percent number. The next thing that I do is I write out my next ratio, part of the proportion, and I find the word of. And look at where the of is. The number after the word of is 50. So I'm going to put that in the denominator. That's the whole part. It's out of the whole part. Look at the other number, 20. It's closest to the word is in the sentence, and that would go on top. There's my proportion. And you could zoom in on that if you needed to. N over 100 equal to 20 over 50. Remember, there's several ways that you can solve a proportion, and one of the things that you can do is cross multiply. 100 times 20, and then divide that by 50. And then that gives you the percentage answer. 40%. Nice. Let's look at our second one. It says 8 is what percent of 25? All right, so in this one, I notice that my sentence starts with a word and it's written out, so that word is a number, but I'm still looking for what percent. So I'm going to start this proportion as n over 100 because I'm looking for the percent number in the problem. All right, I'm going to write my next proportion. I go to the word of, and of needs to be, or the number right after it needs to be in the denominator. That's the whole amount. And the other number that I'm given here is 8. There's my proportion. Remember that I can go through and solve that by saying 8 times 100 and then divide that by 25. So my percentage in this case is 32%. Both of these questions were asking for percentages. All right, let's look at a different type of question. In this one, it says, what number, that's my unknown, that's what I'm looking for, is 30% of 60? All right, now let's use this guideline, this setup, this formula of percent over 100 equal to is over of. And I'm just going to get started. I identify that my percentage is already given to me. That's the number that has to be written over 100. This right here makes this happen. So I'm going to go to my next ratio and say, okay, what else do I know here? I've got a 60 after the word of. That goes down in the denominator. And this time, my number up in the top, closest to the word is the part amount. Part out of the whole, closest to is unknown. N over 60. All right, how would I solve that? I would go 30 times 60. And I would divide it by 100. This answer is 18. N is 18. That means 18 out of 60 is 30%. Isn't that a nice setup? Nice formula to use. Let's do another one. 20 is 60% of what number? Okay, let's use the setup, the formula. What do I know here? I see a percent number. I'm going to write that down as 60 over 100 because that's what that means. All right, in my next part, I'm going to get my next fraction going. What do I know here? of. What number is the unknown? And that's directly after the word of. So I'm going to put that variable to represent that unknown number down in the denominator. 20 is the number closest to the word is, and that goes up in the top of my proportion. How would I solve this one? Cross multiply. 100 times 20, and then divide by 60. It's going to give me 33.3 repeating, which is the same as 33 1/3. So 20 out of 33 1/3 is really 60%.